Despacito, cards are flying high. Shuffle up and deal, let the aces lie. Longest running show, yeah, we've seen it all. From the river to the rail, we answer the call.
Hello, A-Team, and welcome back to another episode of the Ante Up Poker Podcast, where every hand is an opportunity, every player is a friend, and every episode is a winning experience. I'm your host, Joe Scales, and as you heard, the new intro is officially set, and those of you watching saw it has the new video for you as well. I hope you guys like that. Still working on the bumpers for each of the segments, but I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who reached out with feedback on the intro options. And when I say it was close, I mean everybody liked both of them, but this one came out the true winner. I sorted through a lot of emails, listened to all of your thoughts, and I mean, after everything was said and done, I think this one just felt like the best fit overall, especially for how the show flows from segment to segment. That said, the other intro is too good to just sit on a shelf, right? So don't be surprised if you hear it pop up in another way down the road. Quick reminders before we dive into the show. The Patreon game is coming up this Thursday, the 5th. I hope to see everyone there. The bounty will be on T-Titan, so keep an eye out for that. I've also heard from a few of you with some questions about the Gila River Lone Butte tour stop. We'll have tournaments running from the 18th through the 22nd. Satellites are already going on, and all the information is up on the website if you're looking to plan ahead and grab a seat. So, other than that, we've really got a great show lined up for you again today, and I want to jump right in. That's all the announcements I have for now. So let's get on with the show.
Find out what conversations are happening around the poker table with Table Talk.
Elle and I are back around the poker table. How are you?
I'm just glad to be here with you.
Yeah, this has been a week. It's been cold, so nobody can get out much, and when they do, it's just like short trips to wherever.
Yeah, we got to meet some friends at a Mexican restaurant the other night. That was really fun.
Yeah.
I think everybody's just getting squirrely. Not you,
right.
Not me, not us.
Well,
I mean, we both, yeah. But like, it's just, I'm happy I'm here with you.
Likewise. I want to touch on one thing real quick before we even get into a whole bunch of things, because Will Dixon sent in a hand of the week, and he asked something during that hand of the week that I don't think we're going to have. We haven't got to the his hand of the week yet, and I don't think we're going to be able to discuss the question that he asked during that segment because it'll take too long.
Oh, I like this.
So
what did Will say?
I would love to discuss it here.
Okay.
In the hand, he's playing in a $400 buy-in tournament.
Standard.
That ballooned up to the prize pool to like almost $2 million.
I can't do the math that fast. So
a
lot of entries are revised or revised.
Yeah. So he asked the question, are these high buy-in tournaments actually necessary to create these massive guarantees, or should we be focusing more on smaller buy-in tournaments with less stress for people's bankroll?
The pendulum swings, and the first thing that comes to mind is, what we heard that worked really well in casinos last year is not what's really working this year. And I think there's an ebb and flow that we have to consider. And there's a lot more that goes into what buy-in works than we realize. Like, I think there's some economic reasons that people may feel more inclined to be participating in lower buy-ins right now. I think, we even said first of the year, it's like, maybe there's all these low buy-ins because everybody just finished Christmas. Right. But he's bringing up a point that, like, do we really need big buy-ins to get big guarantees? Probably not. But there's also the second thing that comes to mind for me is that field's bigger. So I have to consider when I look at a $400 buy-in versus a $1,200 buy-in, especially if rebuys are allowed,
Right.
then I may have a bigger field to go through
You're
to play
definitely gonna have,
against, right? So if my bankroll allows, I might want to play that 1,200.
Because you don't have to face as many people?
Yeah, there's lots of things to be considered. And I think he brings up a good point. I feel like, Will, you just opened a can of worms. You know?
Well, I mean, we've already proven that these smaller buy-in events, I mean, the WSOP had, what was it called? The Goliath? And
yeah.
I think it was a $400 buy-in too, if I'm not mistaken, but it was the Gladiators, what it was called.
Mhm.
And it had a $3 million guarantee on a $400 buy-in. So we've proven that it can happen. Online poker does it all the time, right?
Right.
You have a $10 or $20 or $50 buy-in tournament and you get huge guarantees or prize pools out of it.
So what is his question really asking? Maybe let's go back to the question. Is he saying, do we have to have big?
Are they necessary to create these massive guarantees?
Or big buy-ins?
Yeah.
No. Just depends
short
on how
answer,
many.
yeah.
The short answer is no. If
what?
you have the field that's willing to come and play and pay
right. And
at whatever time. And that's another whole thing is like, think about an event you're trying to plan for your family, extended family.
Yeah.
Like a family reunion. You say Saturday would be a great day. It's not always great for everyone.
That's true.
I don't know.
That's why I think that the key is probably, multiple events, right?
Opportunities.
Yeah. So
which a lot of places like Schenectady do.
Yeah, I think Schenectady does a really good job with a low buy-in because you have this ability to make it multiple days, right? You have multiple day ones. You grow that prize pool up.
And I think that's what's in our mind because that was the most recent one outside of our championship in Vegas. But I think, it's happening everywhere. We're hearing more and more that that's a deep desire of players.
Yeah. And I think maybe I might be a little bit biased too because of who I am and who we represent, right? We represent the everyday poker player
Right.
with Ante Up. And I feel like the lower buy-in tournaments bring in more recreational players, therefore.
Well, they're more apt and able to participate.
Right. So
you're bringing the game to people.
I think that's more sustainable.
You're meeting people where they are.
Right. I talked with a poker room director just the other day, and they were talking about wanting the next poker boom, right?
Yeah, that's what I meant by the pendulum swinging.
Yeah. The next
we see
poker
trends.
Boom, the next poker boom could just come about because there's more opportunity, and more opportunity is because you have lower buy-in tournaments.
Interesting.
It makes the game more sustainable, I feel like.
Well, and you can share it with people. You want to invite your friends?
Sure, yeah. You bring your friends, maybe even you talking about multiple buy-ins, like if it's a $400 tournament versus a $1,200 tournament, that's 3 buy-ins versus 1.
Sure.
So
you're not wrong.
Yeah, I think when you narrow the field from a marketing standpoint, because that's the field that I came from, right?
Mm-hmm.
From a marketing standpoint, when you start talking about, we're going to have a higher buy-in event and it's going to lower that player pool, now you've got to market it harder
or differently.
Yeah, because you need those. If it's going to be a less of a player pool, you need them to be there to make that guarantee. So you kind of make life more difficult for yourself to some degree as well.
Either way, great conversation starter, Will. Thank you. If you have other topics that you would like us to discuss, I think we're always open to hearing from that and sort of debating it on air. So thank you, Will, for
I love
bringing that to
questions
mind.
like that, debates like that. Kind of a debate was also Jungleman. Did you see that?
Debate. No.
Yeah.
He was in a ring. There was no debating. There was fighting.
There was a debate because the way it ended.
Okay, well, hold on. For those of you that don't know, Jungleman, very well-known character in the poker community, is now giving boxing a run.
Right. He had his first fight ever.
Yeah, his very first debut. There's already something under review or discussion, and this is rightly so.
Right. Yeah, he went against Ryan Noel. I don't know him, but he has a sports betting show.
Okay.
So he's a host of a sports betting show, and
I still haven't watched it.
But he has a background in fighting. So he
is this fighting, boxing, MMA? What are we doing here?
This one was boxing. I don't know what Ryan's background was in.
So Jungleman has an interest in boxing.
Yes. He jumps in the ring with Ryan, and he makes it to the second round.
A legit fight.
Yeah, legit fight. Yeah. They get to the second round, and it was actually ended because Ryan hits Jungleman out of the blue. Like, Jungleman wasn't ready for it. And if you watched it, I watched the video, and the ref definitely says fight. So in that sense, it's a legit hit. But Jungleman's not even looking anywhere in that direction. He has no idea. He's like walking to the corner. I don't know if he thought the round was over. And
you're new to a sport. That could be an easy mistake to make.
Yeah. So some are saying they thought it was a cheap shot by Ryan.
Okay.
And others are like, no, they said fight, so it's legal.
Game on.
Yeah.
Regardless, this is like out of the blue, not what I expect from Jungleman at all. Someone who is very natural.
He's a character.
Wears a scarf.
Yeah. Wears all kinds of different things.
Is reading.
Showed up as the Macho Man one time.
Yeah.
At a tournament at the WSOP.
Was it Poker After Dark we were watching, where he's like reading while everybody else is studying the players, and he's like reading a book in the recliner. I mean, this is when you even told me
it was that Poker After the Dark, the one where they had the teams pitted against each other.
And they're like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm reading. What are you doing? Like, this is not a sport. This is not an avenue I thought he would be pursuing. So it surprised me on all fronts, but I hope he's okay.
They said he suffered a concussion. Whoa. And he already said he would like to have a rematch. So we'll see. More to come on that.
So he got backed up.
Yeah. Well, he never actually hit the ground. That was the thing, is they stopped it because you could tell he was
cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah, that.
Wow. Well, more power to him to getting back up and back in the fight, per se. I'm just glad he's all right. And I'm surprised, but we'll keep an eye out for the more boxing from Jungleman.
He's got
a great name already.
That's fair.
He does have a really great boxing name, right? Yeah.
Or WWE, one of the two.
Something along those lines. Well, speaking of competition and neck and neck.
Oh, yeah.
Still at the races. Maurice Hawkins got another ring, so I'm sure Ari. Yeah,
22.
Yeah, number 22, which happened in Tunica. I believe it was this week.
Yep, it was the mini main.
So Ari Engel is still on his coattails and has 2 more to catch up now.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm sure the pressure is on Ari.
Behind him, you've got David Lowry, who's the up and coming, who has 19. So
that leaderboard, he's just racking up the points.
Yeah.
Racking up the points. At Tunica, though, we do have somebody we know in Tunica this week. Shout out to Hyatt.
He said he actually played a couple of hands with Maurice. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah. A lot of people tearing it up out there. The mini main that he won, that Maurice Hawkins won, had 625 entries in it. I know Hyatt said that the tournaments have been stellar.
Yeah. Competition has been stiff, and it's been super fun. We've heard a lot of really great stories coming from there and seeing some pictures come in. So hopefully we'll have some of that to share.
Yeah.
with folks. We've also heard from our ambassador, Dustin Scarra, out in Arizona. He's playing in the MSPT
yeah.
this week.
From what I understand, that tournament is going really well too. They have some big guarantees coming up on that. Speaking of guarantees.
Really?
So, yeah.
Well, there's, like we've always said, there's always poker to be had.
Oh, 100%.
There's always action to be had somewhere, somehow, some way. And I'd love to just revisit some of our tips and tricks from the magazine, because I think January has been super slow in some ways and super fast in others. We still need to do our Wheel of Life. I went, if you want to know, truth be told, I went and added a comment on our YouTube from last week to say, this is the Wheel of Life, or 2 weeks ago. Here's the link. So the link is live. It's out there. If you want to go take the assessment, it's free. We have to do that this week because we promised we would. And two, I really am curious about the details. And because I want to apply them, this is where I'm going. I wanted to apply them to one of the other articles from Dustin, which was like, how do you make goals?
Oh,
what, how we set resolutions. What are some goals? What are some things to consider? Because sneak peek, he's following that up with, how do you choose a coach, or do you need a coach, or what do you look for? I think are the things he's going to be answering coming up. So I want to be prepared for those.
Yeah, the February issue is packed with more stuff again. You know, there's that article.
Our cover story.
We finished up with, should I tell him who it is?
No, keep it a secret.
Okay. Well, we finished up with I'll give him a sneak peek a little bit. He's a photographer in the poker arena.
Yeah.
And what an incredible interview that was.
He's just a good human.
We've really had some great people on our cover since we've been doing this. But in 2026, we have Lupe, and I think you would be hard pressed to find anybody saying a negative word about Lupe.
Right.
Now we've got the one coming up, another good human. And so
I just can't wait to see. I can't wait to see people's responses. Just number one, like, I don't think everybody thinks about the photographers.
Right.
Or I'll tell you, one group of people that I'm super impressed with when we go to these tournaments are the ones that are like writing down the hands.
Yeah.
As they're happening, to be able to report on them. I think because we all carry around a camera now.
Right.
We're just like, photos are an afterthought. Because how many photos do I have? I just looked. It was like 42,000 on my phone. They're an afterthought.
Most people don't have that.
I know. I understand. But it's a love of mine. I like to take pictures of everything. Our animals, the snow, our family, screenshot things so I can remember. Like, there's tons of reasons why. But we digress. Documenting the game has changed.
Well,
and I think what the human on our cover is going to, I'm not giving out details,
right,
is going to make everyone, or I hope everyone recognizes just how much that adds to our community and what fun they have doing this.
Well, I think that, to your point about taking pictures, though, there's stories with words and there's stories with pictures, right?
Images.
And a photograph tells. I know that there's that old adage, like, a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Yeah.
And that can be true if it's done right. Right. It doesn't lie. Like, the pictures they sent me some pictures that they would like me to use along with their interview. And I mean, that I can't take pictures like that. I mean, I probably could if I studied and whatever, and
if you have the right tools. He's got some pretty stellar, amazing tools.
I was going through those pictures, and I probably spent way too long as I'm putting them in another folder going, oh, wow. Oh, that's a good picture. Oh, wow. But
artists have a lot to share with the world. And I think that our cover story is someone who is dedicated to painting the true picture of poker and the fun and the raw grit and competition and the people.
Yeah.
And the stories that come to the table with those people. And he does a beautiful job.
He does. And, you know, I don't want to discount also. I mean, we've got writers that are sending us all kinds of stuff from across the country, and they help us understand what's going on around.
Well, the written
around
word
the
is a
country.
craft,
Right,
as well.
And then we've got the strategy columns. We've got the
poker beats. We're giving out. Yes, another thing I've just teaser.
Yeah.
The tune for this month is killer. It's on repeat. Rob Fulfer, thank you so much for contributing every month to Poker Beats. Where can we find poker in music?
Yeah.
And this song, literally on repeat.
Yeah.
Had never even been exposed to it before.
So I love this segment or that article every month because I love that he finds music that I don't typically know about.
Right.
And, you know, sometimes I will be like, oh, yeah, that one. Oh, that one. But this one, we both, neither one of us had heard of it. Right. And then we looked it up.
And we keep listening. We keep listening. So,
yeah, like you said, on repeat now.
Yeah. It feels like we're tooting our own horn. We just are saying go read the magazine next month when it comes out because there's going to be great stuff as far as we hope that it contributes to the growth in your game or your excitement or moving the game forward because you guys all know, you hear that from us all the time. We want to just feed people in our community with the best information and knowledge and strategy and trivia the best we can. So
yeah, absolutely.
We're excited about it, which is why we're even talking about it.
Right. Always excited about the next one too. And other than that, I think we just got to try to stay warm with another snowstorm coming.
It's on the way. It's already begun.
So,
as always, Joe,
it's a pleasure being around the table with you.
Likewise.
Now it's time for Call the Floor with Elliott Schechter.
Elliott Schechter joins us each week to say how he would rule on situations that come up in your games. And he's with us again this week. Elliott, how's it going?
Things are going pretty nicely. How you doing, Joe?
I'm good. We're trying to stay warm here.
Well, good luck.
But I talk, you know, we have ambassadors all over the place, and one of our ambassadors is talking about how it's 60 degrees there, so how cold it was. I'm like, shut up.
Right.
But we do have a call the floor, and it is sent in by Nate Strong. And he says, hey, Elliott, how should this have been ruled? And he says, I've been a listener to the show since way before Joe and Elle brought it back. So glad you stuck around. And this is the first time he sent anything in. So thank you for doing that as well.
Appreciate it.
This situation has bothered me so much. I'm hoping to get some sort of answer from a level mind. So I'm sure that's you, not me. So
Hopefully.
He says, I have a friendly home game with no dealer and have had this exact type of situation many times. No one ever calls it a string bet because the intent is clear. However, I recently went to play at a casino and had this situation. The pot is about $40, and I'm heads up with another player on the river. My opponent bets $28, and he says his bets were odd amounts like that all night. I say out loud, raise. I didn't have the exact chips to put out $28, so I put out 6 $5 chips from my stack and pushed them across the table to put out $30. Then, after my chips are already out there and the other players looking at them, I reach back into my stack, grab another $70 and add them to the top to make it $100 total. He says, I did this all pretty quickly, no long pause, no staring for reactions, and said something like, make it 100, while adding the second stack of chips. The dealer immediately stopped me and said, that's a string bet. You did announce raise, but since you only put out the call, we have to only make it a min raise. So I was only allowed to make $56 total. I had to put out 60 and they made changed. I argued, but I said raise first, and it was all quick, no angle intended. Floor was called, and they backed the dealer. They said that I have to commit the full amount in one continuous forward motion without returning to your stack after chips have been released. So he says, I have questions. In the home game, this flies every time because everyone sees I'm not trying to angle or get a reaction. I'm just physically building the bet in 2 quick stacks. Is that not a normal way of finishing the action? And why is the verbal raise not enough? If it's not enough, if that's the case, why am I allowed to raise at all? So, some stuff to unpack there.
Sure. Quite a bit. Well, let's focus on the casino first, and then we'll move to the home game.
Okay.
Most casinos have done away with two-handed raises. The old rule from the 70s and 80s was that you could place chips in the pot as long as your hands never came to rest. So you'd keep going back and forth to get all your chips in the pot when they played with a lot of one denomination of chip rather than multiple denominations to make it easier. That's gone away. Most casinos, if not all of them, have done away with that. We're done. Most games have the required chips to make just about any bet available to the players. And again, this was an exploitable rule, precisely because somebody could put in some chips and very slowly move their hands without resting to gauge reaction, which is the very definition of a string bet. You're stringing somebody along to get more information before you've completed your action, therefore changing your action potentially. Most casinos have done away with that. We're done. If you want to put a raise in, put your raise in. Why does it need to be in 2 different actions? Nobody can really explain that well, other than that's just what people prefer. Well, I've got bad news for you. Most casinos don't care about this particular preference. We're done. So move on. Yeah. Why did you need to place your money in twice instead of once? Why couldn't you have actually spoken up before you put any money in the pot instead of putting some money in pot and then trying to speak up and say your bet? So again, most of this staggered betting style is a waste of time. You're wasting the other player's time, you're wasting the dealer's time, you're wasting the casino's time. For what? What is the purpose? And I'm asking sincerely because I don't know. I don't know. If you've already thought about your bet, then you didn't need to separate it into 2 motions. If you knew what you were going to bet before you would place the chip in the pot and then decided to announce after you placed the chip in the pot, why did you announce it at first? So again, that makes no sense. You're just dragging things out. And additionally, if you didn't know what you wanted to bet, why did you act at all? Just call time or just sit there and think. Just tank. So again, you're placing chips in the pot commits you to something. If you didn't want to commit, don't place a chip in the pot. If you didn't have an idea, don't move. But if you knew what you were going to do that. Why go through this sequence of events that serve very little, if any, purpose? So,
Right.
yeah, casinos are done with this. And you ran into this head first Well, let it be a lesson, I hope. Put more intention and thought into your actions as opposed to just relying on habit or doing something that feels comfortable. Make the new, improved actions more comfortable. Make those the habit, and you'll find you'll have more success at the table. I promise you.
Yeah. I used to play with this guy, and this was years and years ago, but he would have a stack of chips and he would just start placing chips down in stacks until he thought he could get some kind of reaction, and then he
Right.
would stop. And
Of course.
and I think that's the reason that this has kind of gone by the wayside, right?
That is one of
To
the
avoid things.
reasons. Absolutely. Yes.
I think the thing that confuses me here is, I guess maybe it's because he said raise, and so they make it a min raise.
Because he
But
placed chips in the pot. Once again, he
yeah,
committed himself to something. If he had said raise and not put a chip in the pot and then put his entire amount, the entire amount placed in the pot would have been accepted as the action. And that option was available and was deliberately chosen not to be made. So again, yeah,
right.
little things like this, which used to be put up with, are not. It doesn't make sense anymore. If you didn't know what you wanted to bet, don't say anything or don't put a chip in the pot. What
Right.
was the need to put the call in and then put the raise in? I don't understand. It doesn't make it easier or less difficult for the dealer or players to understand what you're trying to do if you just put all your money in the pot. So I'm still trying to figure out what the purpose is of doing that.
Yeah, I think a lot of times, we do get caught up in these videos that we watch of the old Poker After Dark and the old, even the old high stakes poker and all of that, where they would put their call out there, the amount that would have been the call, and then stack chips back here and push that forward because they said raise.
Right.
And that's the way, I guess it was dramatic, right? The big dramatic scene.
Sure.
And so I think we do sometimes get caught up in those moments and wanna do things the way that we saw them done in those moments. But I know that there's a rule, and I think I know what it is, but the fact that the total bet was 50 no, the total bet was $28,
Right.
and he put 30 out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the reason that he had to raise here, though. It's because he said raise, right?
Yeah, correct.
Because,
He was obligated to raise. He
um
announced the raise when it was his turn before he placed the chip in the pot. So
yeah,
the obligation's there.
yeah, even though putting 30 out there instead of the 28, that doesn't matter, because the rule is, like, if it's over a certain amount, then it's a raise, or if it's under a certain amount, it's not a raise
Yeah,
if he
half
didn't
or
say
if
anything.
you all right, say the bet's 28 and you place 30 in the pot without saying anything, you've called the 28.
Yeah,
If you would put 50 out, you would be required to bump that up to the 56, the minimum available raise, because you placed half or more of the actual bet in addition to your call into the pot. So
right.
yes, that line does exist. But again, the raise was announced, so that took care of that
Yeah.
rather effectively.
And then and then when you take it to your home game setting,
Yes.
it's a whole different if it's a whole different world, right? You're playing with your buddies,
Sure.
and I understand you probably should be playing as close to the rules as you can in those moments, in those games. But you can't expect all of the same structure, the same kind of feel as your home game when you
Mm,
go to a casino, per se. You
yes and no. Obviously, it's going to be much more sociable. Uh,
Right.
Casino games are social games. You're playing amongst other people. Some games are decidedly not sociable. There's a good possibility that not a single player knows another player, especially if it's a tourist city like Las Vegas. And the players may all hate each other, so it may not be sociable. So a home game is
Right.
decidedly more sociable. The players generally do know each other over extended periods, and more than several are probably friends together. So it's much more
Right.
sociable in addition to being social. So that is a
Yeah.
huge change. And when things are sociable, yes, casual interpretation of rules is generally accepted. And why not? You want to keep things friendly, and as long as there's no malice or cheating or other horrible intent present, then yes, things are going to go that way, and that's fine. Poker should be fun, but the rules uh, governing the play of the game, whether in a casino or a home game, should be similar, if not
Yeah.
identical.
Well, but you can't put a casino, either whether it be the dealers or it be the floor staff or whoever, you can't put them in charge of understanding what your intent is.
Uh,
In a home game, it's way different because you've played with them for a long time. M-
sure.
I'm sure that they do know your intent. They do
Well,
know that this is what you do.
and again, and that's yeah, I see your point there. The problem is if they're inviting new players to the game, because eventually you need to find
Yeah.
new blood and new money and new people. They might not know the
Yeah.
intent, or they may have different intent, and they may intend to exploit it as opposed to actually just going along to get along. So yeah,
That is true.
this the road to the underworld is paved with, well, we know what it's paved with. So again, it's better to make things logical and productive rather than maintaining habit. I'm still struck by the one line. Physically building the bet in two quick stacks so that you can move two quick stacks one at a time. Wouldn't one quick stack be better than two quick stacks? It's literally 50% less stacks, which would by definition be quicker. So again, uh, I appreciate the fact that you like to put your call in and then your raise. Those days are done. And I regretfully am the bearer of such bad news, but it's time to get with the times.
Yeah. Yeah, and Nate, I would say the best thing to do is to get into the practice in your home game of doing it the way the casino is going to rule it,
hmm
and then you don't have problems when you go back and forth.
I think we can explore this a little further. When you're placing multiple stacks out as your bet one at a time, you're keeping everybody's eyes on you. That's not an advantage. In poker, that would be a decided disadvantage. You
Yeah.
should want everybody's eyes on everybody else. You should be observing everybody else. When you're investing your effort and time into making your own bets and making your actions, you're not focusing on anything else besides yourself and your bets. When you should be focusing on your opponents and what they're doing and how they're doing it. So
Yeah.
you're losing something here. You're losing the chance to make observations because you're so intent on producing your bets this way. So even that little edge can be a help. And in the long run, it's obviously going to play out many times. So again, as a general theme, you shouldn't want the focus on you. If you're winning, you shouldn't want people to notice so you can continue to win. And if you're losing, you wouldn't want people to notice so that they don't exploit it. So yeah, once again, throwing the focus off you and putting it on everybody else is probably a good thing. And
Yeah.
I'm sure my fellow contributors can play on that theme in some way, but it's the absolute truth. You
Yeah.
should be giving your opponents an opportunity to give you information as opposed to the opposite.
Yeah. If it's something that you're doing all the time in your home game too, I guess if you're playing with the same people, they may have picked up on some piece of information and they're not telling you.
Yep.
I don't know what your home game win rate is, but maybe it improves if you stop doing this. Yeah, that's a fair point. I didn't really think about it from that standpoint. But yeah, it's not only is it not a common practice anymore or a practice anymore, but it's definitely opens yourself up for more tells. Similar to when somebody goes through the motions of looking at their cards, then putting the card protector,
Right.
and then all of that whole process. Similar to this, you're taking more time. You're having more eyes, or the eyes on you longer,
Yeah.
and giving them an opportunity to pick up on something. So,
hmm
yeah, that's a really good point. Nate, I hope you got some good takeaways there, and
I hope we didn't
if
discourage you.
yeah,
I certainly didn't want that to be the case.
yeah, hopefully the whole process doesn't discourage you from going back to the casino, because playing with the same group, it's a whole different kind of game, and a whole different they have their own separate pieces, right? I love playing in a home game with my friends and all, but the challenge of a casino is also part of this game of poker that we love. So,
Absolutely.
um, yeah, hopefully you work on this stuff in your home game. And if anyone has a call to the floor that they would like to know how Elliott would rule,
Please do.
send it to podcast@anteupmagazine.com. Elliott, we appreciate you joining us another week,
You're very welcome.
and we'll see you next week.
Looking forward to it. I'll see you then.
Let's break it down with Hand of the Week.
Welcome to Hand of the Week, where Patrick, our resident fish, and I dive into listener-submitted hands. Each week, we tackle everything from questionable bluffs to hero calls and the hands that make you scratch your head. Whether you're looking for strategy tips or you just want to see if you would have played it any better, we've got you covered. Patrick, how's it going, man?
Pretty good, my friend. Yourself?
I'm good. Are you over the talk of snow, or
Snowmageddon might be my favorite thing. I'll be honest with you. I spent a embarrassingly large amount of time looking at amateur meteorologists on social media over the last week and a half leading up to that bad boy. So
that is
yeah, I'm all for it.
It is funny how everybody becomes a meteorologist when they talk about
Listen.
impending weather.
Come at me with the Euro and the GFS models, and I'll teach you a few things. It's gonna be my second career. I'm gonna sell my business, and then I'm gonna go ahead and become a meteorologist. I mean, I think you gotta go to school for that.
You're already ahead of me, because I don't know what you mean by Euro and whatever things you're saying.
I love
models
it.
And so we'll just skip over that. We'll jump into some poker here.
That works for me. That's something we both know. Whether it's a lot or not, we'll see. But
yeah. Well, this week's Hand of the Week is sent in by Dave Miller.
Come.
And Dave's playing 1-2 at Wind Creek in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. I like it. Let's go.
I like it.
Road trip. Let's go.
I like it. Hey, that can't be that far from us.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Road trip. We can.
So look, just go straight up 81. We'll get to PA, and then we can find it from there.
I'm sure they have this thing called Google Maps. We can probably find it.
Hey, when the internet went out the other week with Verizon.
Yeah. We were all struggling. Everybody was struggling.
Let me tell you, you know who got a bump? MapQuest. For the first time in 30 years. Honestly, if they were smart, listen, I'm not condoning going to hack anybody or any kind of illegal activities, but if I worked at MapQuest, I would find a way to bring down a network like that, because my mom was in DC, the greater DC area, on business and visiting my sister, and she called me. And I was like, it was right beforehand. She told me what she was doing. I was like, okay, great. Of course, the network was down. She finally found a Starbucks. So she FaceTimes me, which we were still able to do. She was like, I have no idea how to get there, and I'm trying to remember directions every time I get to a new Wi-Fi. I was like, so what are you going from Starbucks to Starbucks just to get to her, her condo? I'm like, this is ridiculous. So yeah,
okay. So I have two thoughts on that. One, I didn't know MapQuest still existed. So
you and me both, pal.
that's number one. But I think it's funny that we went, I'm going to go to MapQuest instead of getting an actual map.
Well, I mean, is Rand McNally still around with the, an
I'm pretty
atlas?
sure they still make those books with all of the maps in them.
I would, let me tell you, I bet big money that every single gas station in America, or at least a large percentage of them, still has a paper map sitting in some corner
100%.
of some little rack. Yeah.
Yes. And that might be a better solution than going from Starbucks to Starbucks and then trying to remember.
Thank God she doesn't listen to this show, and because she'd be all over my ass on this one. So anyway, yeah, that was a fun one. A precursor to Armageddon for all you, in the days folks out there. Maybe you're right. So anyway, back to Dave's hand in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, straight up 81 from us. What else do we got?
Dave says he's been there a couple of hours at a table that very often goes with at least half the players in for the flop without a raise, while a raise of only $5 often results in heads up or even everyone folding.
Okay, that's good background. See, this is the stuff we need, though.
Right. He says more than once after the flop checked through, I made a blind stab on the turn and took it down uncontested. So it sounds like, to me,
it's like a very uniform, tight game.
Yeah, maybe the most boring game on the planet. I'm all for making some money and just taking down blinds and whatnot, but give me some action sometime. Anyway, it's 9-handed at this table, and Dave is in seat 7, so I have a good view of the other players, he says. My $200 buy-in is now at about $300. Okay, so at least, there's got to be some action happening. He's making some money.
He's taking down some
about
blinds.
100. I guess. He's up 100 after a couple of hours, so that's still a pretty good hourly rate, right?
Yep.
Under the gun limps. We are under the gun +1 with pocket tens.
All right.
Where do we go?
Well, we're definitely not 3-betting at this game. Someone might have a heart attack.
Right. Well, we have to have a raise before we can 3-bet, but
ooh, that's a good call. Listen, everyone with the terminology. You're right. I don't think anyway. You're right. I don't know. I'm so thrown. I guess a raise of $5 leaves the heads up is, it's telling us something. I don't even know what to say. I'm at a loss for words, and that never happens. I would say $5.
I don't think it's wise to go huge here, right? This is a good point about table dynamics.
Yes.
Wherever and whenever you play. A big raise at some tables is going to be a small raise in others, right?
Yep.
And those are things you have to take into account when you're playing somewhere else, somewhere new.
Yeah.
Poker's not a one-size-fits-all kind of game. So,
yep.
I guess as poker players, it's our job to adjust to the players that we're playing against. And it sounds like at this one we don't need to go big here, right? So yeah, I'd probably do exactly what Dave said early on and bet $5 should be enough to get us the heads up against the under the gun limper, and maybe we get one other loose caller while we fold out the rest, and if it folds around, then great, I guess.
Yeah, great. I guess is about right. That's kind of what I was thinking too. So, all right, yeah, that $5 it is.
So Dave raises as well. He says I raised the typical $5, hoping to get to heads up cheaply. So it sounds like we're all on the same page here. It folds to the cutoff in seat 2, who also has about 300. Dave says, I haven't seen him show or even play many hands, but he seems somewhat tight. He makes it 15, and it folds to us.
So doesn't play a lot of hands, tight in a somewhat tight game, and he raises to 15. So
Right.
he's sitting on aces, right? Or kings.
Aces, kings, queens. I mean,
I
even
don't even
jacks
know
beat
a
us,
tight
but
player queens. Yeah.
I'm not
So,
folding.
well, I'm not folding either. I'm just not. I don't think I'm going to re-raise. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, that's the main question, right? Do you 4-bet or do you just call?
Normally, you're so far in my head anyway, Joe, that you just should have assumed that this is what I was referring to. Yeah, I'm just not re-raising. I'm just calling.
Yeah, I feel like 4-betting is risky because he's not 3-betting light, like you said.
Yeah,
Um,
and I think if any, we'll see how the plan plays out. Continue.
yeah,
Yes, I'm calling.
yeah, just calling. Then we get to see the flop, right? We get to see
Yep.
play pretty straightforward from there.
Yep.
Dave says, although it feels like a position steal with something like ace king, I merely call.
Okay.
After too many ways for 10-10 to lose, except the flop is 10-9-9. He says, Yahtzee! So
I
we
like Dave.
flop a
I
boat.
like Dave a lot.
Yep.
So we check or we seed bet. One of the two. I'm probably at this table. I'm probably checking. If it was any other table, that maybe had a little bit more of a loose feel, then I'm probably seed betting.
I actually was just thinking a lot of players are going to check here and let the opponents catch up. But
right.
Feel like if they have aces, which is where we were going, right? Aces, kings, queens.
Kings, or queens is kind of where my thought is.
We end up losing value if we just check here. Because tight players are going to check back medium strength hands that may call. So I want to build the pot.
Okay.
I'm going to bet small though.
What was the pot again? It was like what, 30 to 31?
35,
32?
I think,
because
35.
Okay.
You've got 15 is 30. You've got the blinds.
You had a
that are
limper
30,
and the blinds.
and then
yes.
one limper. So
Okay.
35 is the pot. I want to bet super
8.
small.
8.
I was going to go 12.
Okay. Well, 8's my lucky number, so we're going with 8. And I hope he comes way over the top.
The thing is, I'm not scared of any draws right now, right?
Nothing, not a single thing. Now, a jack comes up, maybe, but again, continue. I'm not afraid of anything. Feeling froggy today, Joe. I think most people could feel froggy when you're sitting on a boat right out the gate. But you know, what is that song? I'm on a boat. Okay, continue.
After little thinking, I make it 20.
Okay.
He quickly calls.
Ooh, okay. Like that. That's good.
Dave says too quick. Would he re-raise pre-flop with 9s? Is he stringing me along with quads?
No.
Why do you think no? I mean, it's in this realm.
It is, but he doesn't play. I mean, he is in the cutoff, so there's that, but
he is tight. So the 3-bet.
I mean, he could make us on anything.
Right.
So if he's sitting on aces or kings, then he's got top 2 pair right now.
Right. Which is why I think it's probably not.
That's why he quick called.
But I feel like, honestly,
if Dave is setting the stage for a heartbreak right now, I would be so very sad.
I feel like if somebody did have quads here, though, they would probably at least hem and haw a little bit to try and get you to not think they have quads. Like,
Yeah.
I guess I'll call.
Yeah.
But Dave says, I'm starting to feel uneasy until the turn is another 9.
I'm okay with that. He's not sitting on
Yeah.
a 9.
So my first reaction was, you were worried about quad 9s, and now it's only going to take 1 9 to make quads. But then I'm like, yeah, but they probably, on a tight player on a tight table, probably isn't raising us or 3-betting us with ace 9 or king 9. What else? 10 9, 9 8, none of those, right?
Yeah.
So I feel pretty good about them not having a 9 right now. What do we do with that?
Well, playing Dave's hand. So what was it? So we went 20 and 20, right? So that's 40. That's 75 in the pot.
Yeah, 70, 75.
Well, I think you continue with where he was at. He went more than a half pot the first time. Maybe right at half pot again. The consistency of it. Maybe we're talking, 40.
Okay.
Are you? I see the wheels turning in your head right now, and
Yeah. It's
and
true.
you're gonna. Let me tell you, I take the words right out of your mouth, Joe.
All
You're
right, what
gonna
do you think?
check,
It's exactly what I
and
was
you're
thinking.
gonna see what our friend over in the cutoff does. Now the question is, if it's a tight player, you already got a little bit of value, which I appreciate. I mean, that's what we did with the flop. If he checks back, you kind of like, oh, okay, well, damn. But if not, if he comes big, you're calling. If it's just a little bit, are you raising?
I think I'm probably raising regardless.
Okay.
I'm
All right.
I'm looking at this as a check raise opportunity.
Beautiful. Okay.
So Dave says, now I'm feeling a lot better. He probably has an overpair for 9s full and thinks he's good.
Yep.
So I want to make a teaser bet that may entice him to raise. After thinking for just a few seconds, I bet $35, which is right there close to
Right
where
in
you
line.
were.
Yes. Yep.
And he raises to 135. You shoving?
Shoving.
Yeah. It really
With a
does feel
big,
like
big smile on my face.
it really does feel like aces to me,
It
right?
does. It 100% feels like aces or kings.
So the only question is, how do we get the rest of his stack? Are
Yep.
they going to be afraid of us having a 9 if we shove?
They probably make us out to have a 9 much more so than we think he does.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily want to see another card. I mean, he's sitting on aces or kings. We still have, there's still 3 aces or 3 kings as a possibility out there. Or,
Yeah,
no,
I
excuse me,
mean,
2 of each, excuse me. So I don't want to see one of those.
if another 9 comes out, then there's quads on the board and he has the ace kicker.
Oh, what are you doing dooms glooming today? What?
I'm just
I didn't
making a
even
point of why
I didn't even think about that out. You're right.
it's probably that is why I want to raise here, right? I
Yeah.
want to put it all
Yeah.
in. It's really only 100 more if my brain is working here. We started with 300.
Yeah, we went, 15, 20 is 35, plus another 35 is 70.
And then he made it 135. So just a
Yeah,
call
that's
is only
2.
going to leave us
Yeah.
about 100 more.
Yeah.
So go ahead and put it in now.
Yep.
I don't think aces are folding to us shoving.
No, I don't think either one. I
Um,
think aces or kings both call.
What about queens or jacks? Are you just dismissing the fact that he might have those hands?
I am. It's not a very good way to play poker. I'm working on it. I get too set in my ways of like what I think they have, like I'm freaking Nostradamus or something.
I mean, I'm with you that it does feel like aces.
I'm thinking here's my thought. Tight table, tight player. And just the rest of it, I'm thinking no one likes to play jacks, but we all do. It could be queens, I guess. You're right. Doesn't really change anything where I'm at, except for giving myself one more out. Or two more,
Right.
I guess.
I mean, here's the thing. Yeah, it plays the same no matter what.
It
If
does.
it
It plays
aces,
percentage-wise the same,
kings,
yeah.
queens, or jacks, it plays the same.
Now, he's sitting
So
on ace nine, we're gonna look like fools, but it is what it is. I've
right.
looked like a fool before, and I'll be fine.
If he has ace nine, then Dave's explanation of this player is completely off.
No, and
Yeah.
I trust Dave. I don't know him, have never met him, but I trust him.
So if this guy turns over ace nine, I'm blaming Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. Dave's going straight under a bus, throwing him straight under the bus.
Dave says, "Whoa, 100 more. Why so much?" He says, "Yeah, I was hoping for a raise, but that seems a bit high. It's unlikely that he raised preflop with a random 9 or even ace 9 suited. But what could he be thinking?" After some thought, I decide he has an overpair and thinks I have ace 10 or some other lesser pair. As such, he wants me to pay to draw to those hands to beat him. And if that's the case, I'm ahead. Obviously, I'm not folding, so my options are call or raise, which would be an all-in for just over $100. So we had to stack about right then. Although I want to, I'm not sure if he calls a shove, which I think he has covered. I'm not sure that's true. If it's only 100 more, I mean...
Yeah, I think it's only 100 more. I think he probably does call.
If he has aces for sure, maybe not jacks, maybe. I still think he calls, but he says, more important, if I call, I'm not sure how the river will affect my action. If I'm right, then a 9 will make quads on board, exactly, and put him ahead. So, see, it's not just me.
No, it's not. There's a song about this. I'm the problem. It's me. I need to open my mind of where this could go. I get so fixated on 1, 2, 3 hands, whatever that, possibilities. I don't see the bigger picture.
But I will say this, Dave, that's a reason to shove.
Yeah, 100%. Yes. If you're thinking that's yes.
A 10 will kill my action, and any overcard, particularly an ace, will give me a headache. But at the moment, I decide my best response is to call and immediately announce check dark and pray for a blank. I don't like the check dark there. I feel like that's essentially putting us at risk of losing value for sure. If it comes a blank and they check back, I don't like that. Checking dark is one of those things where I feel like there's a time for it, but I don't think this was one of those. I think the question, Dave, to ask yourself there is, are you checking a blank on the river? Any blank? For sure. And I don't think the answer there is yes. So
I don't think so
gotta
either.
put it all in before that. He says, I'm sure you he says, I'm sure you both will say I should have shoved.
Well, yes.
You are correct, Dave. You've been listening long enough to understand. Yes, that is our thinking. The river is a blank, and after being reminded that I checked dark, he goes all in.
Well, if he shoves, then great. Thanks for all your chips, pal.
He says, is there any chance he has a 9? I mean,
Well, yeah, but very, very,
would he
very, very
really
slim.
re-raise pre-flop with a random 9, even ace 9 suited?
No.
I mean, we're definitely, we've already put our chips in, so we're calling.
Yeah,
After
we're
after some thought, I take a stack and while pushing it forward, announce, "There's only one hand I'm afraid of." This puts a smile on his face. That's bad news for us. They've putting a smile on his face. Dave even says, "Uh-oh." But he turns over ace, ace. And Dave says, I turn over my tens saying, and that's not it.
that's not it.
That's not the hand.
I love it.
His smile quickly goes away. I guess he thought I had ace 10 or king king. I think, judging by the way that he was put a smile on his face, he probably thought you had king king.
Yeah.
He gets up to leave, but is called back so we can count the stacks. He had $12 and leaves disgusted.
This might be my new favorite. I mean, I know we have recency bias, but Dave Miller, this is great. Well played, sir.
Yeah, and I love that he listened long enough to know to be able to.
Oh, he
to
knew what
say
we were doing.
were shoving.
Maybe we shouldn't go to Bethlehem because he clearly has a great read on us.
Right? But I'll say this, though. I don't think that's where the mistake was. I think the bigger mistake is checking dark. It's an
I gotta tell you,
unnecessary risk of losing value to check dark. Yeah, otherwise, though, well played. Actually, I mean, it ended up the same way as it would have with us shoving. The aces just aren't folding there, I don't think. If they had jacks, kings, or queens, I don't think they fold either. Either way, well done, Dave. Well done.
Very well done.
I also, just to shout him out a little bit, I always appreciate, Dave has sent in numerous hands of the week and call the floors. And we just did a call the floor with him last week. So appreciate you, Dave, sending those in. If anyone has a hand of the week that they would like to see how Patrick and I would play it, send it to podcast@anteupmagazine.com. Patrick, stay warm and
Snowmageddon.
It's time for Joe's 1-outer.
My biggest problem with poker advice online is that usually it has no context. And I think that's dangerous. Because poker isn't chess. It isn't one correct move that's always correct forever. Poker decisions, they live in these little details, right? Stack sizes, position, player types, player history. What stakes are you playing? Table dynamics. What stage are you in a tournament? All of that makes a difference. But on social media, you'll see a post on there where somebody says, hero has ace king, flop comes this, I did that. What are your thoughts? And inevitably, these replies come flying in. Snap shove. Oh, that's an easy fold. Never bluff there, or always raise. And they sound confident. But the truth is, without that context, a lot of that advice is basically a guess. What people don't think about is that the same exact hand can be played 3 different ways, and all 3 can be right, depending on what we don't know. Is this a 1-2 game where nobody folds top pair, or is it a tougher game where ranges are tighter and people actually think? Is the villain a calling station? Are they a nit? Some kind of maniac? Are we 200 big blinds deep, or are we sitting with 25 big blinds and every pot is basically for our stack? Is it a tournament where ICM is breathing down our neck, or a cash game where we can just reload and keep playing? That's not extra info. That's the whole story. And when you strip the story out, the advice becomes dangerous because it trains players to to chase the one-line rules instead of learning how to think. That's why I do things a little bit different on Hand of the Week, right? I try to be completely in the dark until I'm reading it to you guys. Because I want my advice to be the same kind of thought process I'd have at the table. Not something I've pre-baked after seeing results or after scrolling comments or after letting hindsight creep in. At the table, you don't get to pause the hand and ask 400 people. You get a moment, sometimes 30 seconds, to take the information you actually have and make the best decision you can. So when I'm reading Hand of the Week cold, I'm trying to think about, what do we know? What do we not know? What can we reasonably assume? And what are the options and what are the risks? And when we're doing it right, there's still some questions we might think of that we can't answer in that moment. And that's just the game. Sometimes you don't know if the player is capable of bluffing or if they're overvaluing a hand. Sometimes you don't know if your image is tighter than what you think it is. So you make the best decision you can with the available information and you live with it. That's what real poker looks like. When you submit a hand online or you send in a Hand of the Week, try to be as precise as possible. Too much info is better than not enough. Give position, give your stack size, give stakes, give your tournament stage if it's a tournament, give reads and player history. Tell us what you thought in real time, not what you think after the result. Because the goal isn't for people to tell you what they would do in a vacuum. The goal is to help you build a process so the next time you're in a similar spot, you're prepared. That's today's One Outer, and that's today's show. I'll see you next week, A-Team. And until then, I'll see you at the tables.
The Ante Up Podcast is a production of AnteUpMagazine.com. Contact the show at podcasts@AnteUpMagazine.com or call the show at 540-339-7741. If you'd like to advertise, send an email to editor@AnteUpMagazine.com.